Oh, good morning, guys. I was just looking at all the awesome stuff I've done with the aquarium in the last few weeks. Stuff that I may have forgotten to update you guys on. Oops. We'll get to that after the intro. So as you guys can see, the aquarium is a little glary because I'm doing this in the morning instead of in the evening, which is when I usually do it, when there's not a lot of light bouncing off the glass. But that's not going to be a problem because we're going to be mainly doing B-roll footage as we're going over all the stuff that I've done in the last few weeks with the 40 gallon and maybe the 10 gallon a little bit too. So the most major thing that I did not tell you guys about was buying the peppered Corydoras, high-fin peppered Corydoras. I got them for $24 for 8 of them, so a really good deal off Kijiji. And they were just a ball of energy. They're always hopping together, eating an absolute ton. It was awesome to feed them because they would never use their eyes. They would always just kind of tap around with their barbels until they found the food, and then they'd like tackle it. And I think the second day after having them, they started laying eggs. They also immediately ate the eggs, but it was cool to see them do that, and they never did that again. And I think I had them since August 8th, and it is October 1st. So you guys completely missed out on a solid month, almost 2 months of Corydoras. After that, now you may be thinking, well, what about the shrimp? You put Corydoras with shrimp? Yeah, probably not the best idea, not the worst idea though. The Corydoras weren't actively trying to eat the shrimp because they're pretty blind, like I said. So the shrimp were able to get away, but they weren't able to get away from death. Death came through milk shrimp disease, which I think is just a hardening of the shell and the dying of the inner tissue. They start to turn very milk white, like the disease name suggests, and they slow down, their joints don't move as well, and they die off. And I think the last one of the first generation I caught while Josiah was here, my cousin, and I tried to put him in quarantine and bring him back, but there was no saving him. I may have tried to keep him alive in the filter intake because there was no way I was putting a shrimp in with retro in the actual 5 gallon. Oh, big update. I got a heater and I got the AquaClear. I think it was the AquaClear filter for 40 to 60 gallons. It'll say on this packaging that I'm showing cinematically right now. And what an amazing filter. Like, I got this off Kijiji. It's from before it got bought by Fluval or whoever the big company is. And it just runs amazingly. You guys can hear it behind me. It's so much quieter than having the air pump with the sponge filter. Granted, the shrimp like that a lot more, but first generation shrimp were all dead now. It just works so well. It's so quiet. It's in the background, like it's so flat that you can barely even see it, and it's clear instead of black, so it blends in even better. It's got so much storage space inside the filter. Like, you have a massive sponge, then you have your carbon filter, and then you have phosphate, I think. So super clean water, as you guys can tell. Although I did go through a bacterial bloom at some point, and it got really bad, but it's great now. And it's an amazing filter. I would highly recommend it. I think I got it for like $20 on Kijiji, so get Kijiji too on that now. So you guys heard me say first generation. What does that mean? Shrimp, first generation, huh? There's a second generation of shrimp. Right now, they're actually in their adult stage. So some of them, unfortunately, are starting to get milk shrimp disease. I put one of them in quarantine because I wasn't sure if it was an actual parasite or not. I think it's just old age. He's starting to slow down. He's picking at himself more than he's picking through the gravel. So that's unfortunate. But I think I have 2 or 3 that are now adults that are completely healthy. They're nice and clear. There's maybe 2 that have milk shrimp disease. But I'm surprised that with the Corydoras, so many baby shrimp survive. They really are a very survivable species. And I hope that even with the future plans that I have for the 40 gallon, they'll continue to survive kind of in the background. And you'll be like watching the tank at night and you'll be like, hey, are those a pair of antennas? Are those eyes? Is that a shrimp? Because they're so cool. They're so cool. I love insects and stuff like that. Next thing that happened is I got an aquarium background. As you guys can tell, you're not looking at the wall anymore. It's nice and black back there. And I'm actually thinking about maybe putting plants in front of it because it might be too solid of black, but it's much better than seeing the white wall behind. It really brings attention to the driftwood and the rocks and all this, which I've changed up pretty recently actually. And again, with the clear AquaClear, it just blends into that black background. So then a major change happened. As you guys may be able to guess by this video, I sold Clip. Clip has been here since, I think, January 10th or something. I loved him a lot. He was an Artis cichlid or an Aratus cichlid, or however you guys want to say it. He was a really aggressive Mbuna. I think he's the most aggressive Mbuna cichlid on the market, and there's a lot on the market. And if you guys are thinking about buying one, I would suggest just one by itself, because otherwise it'll destroy everything. But even though he probably participated in budgie dyeing and in wallflower dyeing, I still really loved him, and it was hard to let him go. But for a bunch of factors, I got $50 for him by selling him to Kijiji for someone that wanted to have a breeding project going on, which may not be a good idea if this cichlid starts getting taken off the market because people realize how aggressive it is, but at least he's in a better home. I think he's in like 100 gallon with a female and a bunch of other Mbuna cichlids, which is a great setup, and I got $50. So what am I gonna spend that on? We might discuss that later. After Clip was sold, actually I did spend the money kind of right away. Not all of it, but I spent $10 on, I don't know if you guys can see her on the far left here. That's Barkley. She is my second Farlowella vittata. And I say she because I'm pretty sure it's a girl. Usually girls have a thinner rostrum, which is their nose. And obviously the primary sexual characteristics are different. So the bottom half, you know. And she's been awesome. You guys may have seen that I posted a video about how she was bloated, and that was really scary. To be honest, when I first got her, I didn't quarantine her for that long. Don't follow after me. And I just kind of, I had her in the 5 gallon, and I'm like, okay, that's, you know, it's been an hour. And then I put her in the 40 gallon. Probably not good, probably a lot of stress, and I feel bad about it. But when I first got her, like for the first, goodness, hang on, how long did I have her for? So I've had Barkley since September 4th, so it's been about a month of having her. And for maybe the first like 3 weeks, I never saw her eat. Honestly, I don't see her eat that often. I see her around the cucumber that I put in there, but I never see her actually chewing on it like I see Kitster, who's my smaller male Farlowella vittata. And so that was scary because I'm like, oh my gosh, she's bloated, her intestines are eating themselves and creating a gas expansion inside of her, so that was terrifying. And I didn't really know what to do. I was gonna give her an Epsom salt bath, but within like 5 days it went away. I think the day before it went away, I picked her up because it's super easy to catch a Farlowella because they're just like, oh, no mistake, pass over me, there's nothing here. And it's like, yes there is, and I pick her up. and I kind of turn her over to see if it's gone, and it wasn't gone at that time, so I kind of just massaged the sides of my fish and then I put her back in, and she just kind of sat on that stick. She'd been sitting on that stick for a week without ever leaving. And then obviously a day or 2 days later, the swelling completely went down. And the great thing with sucker fish is when they come up to the glass, you can get a good look at their ventral side. And her stomach is not caved in, it's not expanded, it's, you know, she's got a perfect 8-pack. It's good stuff. Next thing of note is I sold Retro. All my cichlids, gone. I sold Retro for, I think I sold them for only like $5 or $10. So honestly, I just wanted him to go to a better home. Anyone that called to ask about him, I made sure they had a big tank. So I think he went to a 75 Mbuna tank. I think it was same species. Either that or he wanted to build like a group of the same species in the tank. You know, multiple colonies. So Retro is there now. He was really timid before he left though. Slowly I'd been getting him to try and come out of his cave more often. I kept the castle with him because otherwise he had a habit of just hiding up behind the HOB filter. But hopefully once he's with a school of his own kind and he kind of be the alpha a little bit, because he probably will be the oldest. I'm guessing this guy's gonna get his other fish from Big Al's or something like that. But if there's something I miss about him most, it would be taking care of him, you know? I was kind of his protector against himself in many cases, and the other cichlids. And again, he wasn't a good guy either. He's probably the reason Wallflower isn't alive anymore. I mean, technically, I'm the reason that Wallflower's not alive anymore. So after I sold Retro, obviously I had to spend the money right away on something new. So what did I get? These stem plants over here. And let me say, what an awesome purchase. They just fill in that left side of the tank so well. So well. And they look great. And they've got these roots that are coming down. They look like vines. Eventually they're gonna come all the way down, and then they're gonna start breaking off into new plants and stuff like that. So cool, so cool. Not the last plant though, because I also got floating plants up here. They're kind of hidden behind the Riccia, which is a type of moss, you know, aquatic moss. And they look great. There's this one Danio, I call her Bubbles, and she always likes to hide in behind there, and then when any of the other Danios come up, she chases them away. It's very cool. I love Danios. I might have to get more Danios. Maybe that's already happened, I don't know. Oh, and then you might also, in the background, look at these guys right here. Do you see them? They're all like, hey, it's feeding time. Oh, actually it is feeding time. I've conditioned my fish to come up to the surface whenever I blow in the water. Which is really cool with the Danios because there's so many of them. They're like piranhas. Where was I? Platies. So Platies, I got these guys from an old friend of mine, Nate, if you ever want to look him up. Maybe he'll give you some Platies too. So I got 5 Platies, and you may be like, hang on, there's 4 in here. Yeah, one's a female, I got 4 males, and I don't want to put 1 female in with 4 males. I think we all know what would happen. So she's in the 10-gallon quarantine by herself, maybe not, I don't know. And one thing I gotta say about Platies, these are Mickey Mouse Platies, or they used to be. They've kind of broken off through the generations, because we all know that Platies like to breed. And one of the great things about them is because of how they've kind of mutated away from being Mickey Mouse Platies, I'm able to name them individually, and they are very individualistic. They all have their own personality. They're actually a lot like cichlids. If you guys want cichlids, but maybe not so aggressive, I would say get a school of male Platies. They're so cool. They're so cool. They have their alpha. Alpha's big boy over here. And then they have, you know, a hierarchy. Okay, this guy's at the top, number 2, number 3. And they're so smart. Like, they actually... I just said he's so smart while he's eating his own poop. Oy vey. And the guy I got these from, Nate, his tanks are amazing. You guys are seeing a clip right now of his saltwater tank and the shrimp crawling all over my hand. It's so cool. And whenever I see someone else have one, I'm like, that's awesome. Thank you for having this, because I never will. And then he also had this gourami tank, which was really cool. Gave me some ideas, and I might also be giving him some of my plants, because as you can see, the Java fern is really spreading out with my help a little bit, but it's starting to get really planted up, and I like it. One of the last things, obviously we're wrapping up the video now. I hope you guys enjoyed me putting timestamps in here, because I really like it when other people put timestamps in the videos. Makes it really easy to find the stuff that you want and see if there's anything in the video that you do want to see. So leave a like if you like timestamps. Snails. So I had, let's check the fish calendar again. On July 4th, I bought 4 snails. It is now October 1st, and I have 200 snails. So if you guys are interested in getting snails as your cleanup crew, just know what you're getting into, because you're getting into 200 snails. You may look in the tank and be like, there's no way there's 200 snails in there. And you're right. Most of them I put in the 10-gallon tank just to kind of isolate them, stop them from breeding, because if you have 200 snails and each of those 200 snails is pairing up and producing more eggs, you've multiplied the amount of snails you have by 8. So you're gonna have 1,600 snails in my oh my gosh, that's terrifying. You can really see how snails can overpopulate and overrun your tank. But on that note, if I put a cucumber in here, I can leave it for a week and it'll be gone when I have the 200 snails in there. So that was pretty awesome. Problem is, they looked awful on the substrate. It's like, yeah, black substrate, really nice looking. And then you have these little brown spots moving through it. It's like, kind of weird. So I'm gonna start putting all those snails towards another project. A snail substrate project, I guess you could call it. If you guys live in Ottawa and you want to buy some ramshorn snails for whatever reason, no questions asked, take as many as you want. I don't think I'm ever going to do the thing where I breed the snails up for myself and then I feed them to a pea puffer or something like that. Because first of all, pea puffers aren't all they're cracked up to be. And all the other fish that would eat snails are just not really part of my plans. Although apparently platies do, so there's that. There's a couple of hollowed out shells that you guys might see around here. Last but not least, where are the Corydoras? They were a big part of this. They added a nice splash of reflective blue, you know. Why did I not have them in here anymore? Well, they were a lot of energy and I kind of wanted to make this a lower energy tank. So they had to go. And in their place, I'm throwing around a couple ideas. I'm thinking maybe loaches of some kind. I don't know, something that likes to dig through the sand. I've played around with the idea of a banjo catfish. Leave your suggestions for the Corydora replacement in the comments below, and I'll be checking them out. I want you to convince me, I want you to sell me on what fish should be on the ground in the place of the Corydoras. And I suppose that's it for now. I'm just gonna play some B-roll of some awesome aquarium fish that I saw at Big Al's and do my outro. So, if you guys enjoyed watching this video, please leave a like. If you want to see more aquarium videos, of which I have planned, I think 2 months of straight in the future, please subscribe so you don't miss out on that. If you guys want to see more videos like this, hit the video suggestion on your right. If you guys want to watch the next video coming right after this, chronologically, please hit the option on the left. And I will see you guys next time. Cue the music. Ooh, I need some breakfast.